The city of Lagos. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the conversation here on Lagos Television. I am Abimbola Bello.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us on the show. I am Ajibola Ojeshola. A rainy Tuesday indeed.
Right, okay, so this is the day for you to plan your trip, plan your journey. You know, on a good day, even if it doesn't rain in Lagos, you still have to plan your journey. But today is raining, so if you really do not need to get to certain places, you can either work from home or do other things, perhaps on the mainland. Going to the island today, you will need the crystal ball to help you check whether or not traffic is friendly. And please, again, this is where we would ask that you be mindful of other road users. You never know where people are headed to. This is not the time to drive rough and then splash water on people.
And this is also not the time for you to dispose your refuse into canals and drainage channels. And Abimbola did say that some people can actually opt for working at home because it is raining. For the political class as we speak now, whether it is rain or sun, they have to be out.
This is actually,
and protect their investment.
This is actually when you prefer that it's a sunny day. Because even if you go to cast your vote or do whatever in the rain can, your papers can get soaked. So maybe, again, this is where our political class needs to start looking at e-voting.
Yes, absolutely.
For things like this.
And I don't want to envy them at this particular season because you need to check their temperature, their blood pressure as we prepare for 2027 general elections.
Ajibola, yeah, everybody to their own. Everything is a season. So this is the season for them to either feel the hits or be fine. So whether you want to check their temperature or not, you're a politician, Abi, carry your cross.
Carry your cross. And enjoy the perks.
Epa, how are you this morning, sir? So many things happening, so many shockers happening with the APC primaries, so many uncertainty happening. And I think for some reason, in Ogun State, maybe they could finally lay the issues to rest. And you know, one particular person, when I saw the list yesterday, and I'm like, what happened to the deputy governor of Ogun State? Was she played out?
Or did she step down?
Well, it was not.
Because from what I read, the former governor, Gbenga Daniel, stepped down, as well as Amosu.
But nothing was said about Oyedele. Nothing. We just didn't hear anything, and then her name ended up not coming out.
Abimbola, you see some of these primaries, I'm sure Mr. President will still need to step in and, of course, manage some of the crises that we are beginning to see in some of those states. We saw it in Delta, in Taraba, in Imo, in Akwa Ibom. They need to manage this crisis so that it doesn't will not pay dearly for it. Because people are not happy. People are not happy.
Anyway, let's take the news points for today. I'm glad I wasn't here yesterday when you spoke about Chelsea, so we can actually move on.
Arsenal played yesterday. And it's appearing like they're going to clinch the EPL trophy.
No, Jibola, we already said that. I mean, we sorted that. But you know, for the FA Cup, I told you, I did not see Chelsea winning Man City. I told you.
And we played well.
There's a difference between playing well and scoring.
Winning.
So, anyways, that's done and dusted. Wait, so let's go into the news points this morning. Ajibola, let's start.
All right, so we are starting with politics. The APC Senate primaries. Daniel Amosun, Rogers, Crash. Abiodun Uzodinma Bello win. The build-up to the 2027 general elections took a dramatic turn on Monday as the APC Congress was plunged into a wave of internal realignment, high-profile defeats, and consensus maneuvers during its senatorial primaries held across the country. The exercise produced one of the most striking outcomes in recent party history, with several political heavyweights, including former governors and 7 power brokers, losing out, while a new set of influential figures secured the party's senatorial ticket amid a mix of contested primaries, consensus arrangement, and disputed clearances. Former Ogun State governors Gbenga Daniel Ogun East, Ibidapo Amosu Ogun Central shunned the exercise, while Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State won the primary over the ex-governor Rochas Okorocha. In Delta State, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa defeated incumbent Ned Nwoko in Delta North, while Senator Dalfione overcame ex-Deputy Senate President Omo Agege in a tense poll in Delta Central. Big wigs like Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Senate Leader Bamidele Okoyemi, Senator Ali Ndume and Senator Adams Oshiomhole emerged as consensus aspirants in their various states. Yaya Bello wins. Former Kogi State Governor Yaya Bello staged a major political comeback after emerging winner of the APC senatorial primary for Kogi Central with a landslide victory. Bello polled 72,000 votes to defeat Ibrahim Yakubu and Momo Obaro. In Kano North, Deputy Senate President Barau Jibrin also emerged victorious through affirmation amid a massive show of support from party leaders and delegates. Speaking after the exercise, Barau praised President Bola Tinubu and advised party supporters to remain with the APC. In Edo South, confusion trailed the APC primary after two separate victory claims emerged from rival camps. And however, another faction reportedly declared Ize Iyamu as the winner of the contest. That's just it. The crisis, like we mentioned earlier, coming from different parts of the country, and then we saw what played out in Ogun State, like Abimbola mentioned earlier. Of course, Daniel Amosu, the current deputy governor of Ogun State, decided to stay away from the primary. And of course, Rochas, former governor of Imo State, also crashed, but Abiodun, the incumbent governor of Ogun State, won, as well as Hope Uzodinma of Imo State. But for me, Bello winning, despite all the baggages of corruption hanging around his neck,
White Lion
was a surprise for me. White Lion, yeah, White Lion.
The White Lion finally scales through, and honestly, it calls for concern because I really do not know how somebody with allegations, corruption allegations, such huge allegations, would scale through. I would have preferred that, he was cleared totally. Because again, the courts of law, until proven guilty, you are presumed innocent. But he still has issues, weighty issues really upon him. And here he is being cleared to run for election in Nigeria. And I think these are little things that make people see certain things and want to wonder, is this really what politics should be all about? I think evil must come to equity, must really come with clean hands, so that when you're speaking from a place of equity, fairness, and justice.
Absolutely. And I don't want to imagine the kind of election we are going to have in that senatorial district because Yaya Bello is expected to slug it out with
Natasha Akpoti.
Natasha.
Anyways, let's take the second story this morning. And of course, it's one that is not palatable. It is one story that still calls for deep reflection and a lot of concern. And it is about the Oyo school's abduction. And this one says, Oyo abduction, outrage spreads after teachers beheading. Tinubu vows rescue. And the story says, condemnations have continued to trail Friday's bandits' attack on 3 schools in Oriri local government area of Oyo State, where about 30 students and teachers were kidnapped while 2 persons were killed. The attack, which occurred on May 16, saw armed bandits storm the community and abduct staff, students and pupils from 3 schools: Community Grammar School, Baptist Nursery and Primary School, and LA Primary School. Reactions to the incident particularly grew from condemnations to outrage, as a viral video on Monday showed one of the teachers held hostage being beheaded by the abductors. The victim was later identified as Michael Oyedokun, a mathematics teacher. Amid the rage expressed by Nigerians over the incident were calls for government at the state and federal levels to work on swift measures to secure the release of the abducted teachers and students. Giving more details on the incident, Governor Seyi Makinde on Monday confirmed that 7 students were abducted from Community Secondary School, while 18 children and 7 teachers were kidnapped from First Baptist Nursery and Primary and Nursery School, adding that 1 person was killed during the attack. Let me flip to where Mr. President, of course, has vowed that rescue is imminent. Reacting to the incident, President Bola Tinubu describes the act as barbaric. In a statement signed Monday by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, the president said he was saddened by the reported death of one of the hostages and extended sympathy to Makinde, the state government, and the families of the victims. He expressed confidence that with the federal government working with the Oyo state government a breakthrough was imminent. Tinubu also commended the Inspector General of Police and the Commissioners of Police in Oyo and Kwara State for their swift deployment of personnel to the affected area. I will leave it at that. And again, like I said, that story is one that, is quite worrisome. And I think that, far from what a lot of people were thinking, that, kidnapping, banditry was far north, it is now becoming imminent, that it is closer than we can imagine. Orire is in the, outskirts of Oyo State, and this happened in a school on Friday. I know that I saw the video of that man, M.O., where he was speaking so low, and he said his name. I didn't see the beheading, because I'm not sure I could have even watched it.
Likewise.
I could not even have stayed through. I also listened to the principal of the school, another teacher who had a baby strapped on her back. And, what came to mind will be, I really don't know how inhumane we can get to, where you see people and all you can think of is, money or getting ransom from these people. And I also want to believe that these guys are not stereotyped to one particular
style of operation?
No, not even style of operation. What is it called? Part of the country. Tribe. Thank you, producer.
Tribe, yeah.
So a tribe. Because some people also said some of them spoke the Yoruba language.
Wow.
So it means that there's either an infiltration or people are just using this style and this means to inflict hardship on other people. Everybody is suffering in this country. Don't single out yourself as being the only one suffering and then trying to now. So if you now, kidnap people and ask for money, why kill them in such horrific manner? How? Why? What will make you think that beheading that man would give you the amount of money that you actually want? It's sad. There's really no justification for it, and I think the federal government needs to move faster and work with the state governors. The state governors should also not think that this is a federal government thing. They have to do better, because the lives of people is important, and they must ensure that as governors, you are the chief security officer of your state. Do better.
Yeah. This is a very low moment for us as a country, and when I read the story yesterday that particular person was actually beheaded, it broke my heart. And in this part of the world, oftentimes I wonder if indeed many of our leaders are conscious of their constitutional responsibility, which is the welfare and security of the people. Time and time again, we have had Mr. President promised, we have had security chiefs promise us that they are going to end this terrorism problem facing Nigeria. But again and again, we have seen people lost their lives. This time around, children going through that horrific experience. For me, is not good at all for us as a country. I can imagine what those children will be going through at this particular moment.
It's going to leave them with trauma for life.
Forever. So it's a wake-up call for the federal government. It's a wake-up call for our governors to do the needful and stop mounting security, all in the name of politics, as we approach another round of election. As you can see, majority of them do not care anymore. They are busy doing politics, and yet they'll come back again to the people to vote them into office. At what cost? What have you done to secure the lives and property of the people? That should be the question this morning.
Ajibola, let's take other stories.
All right, from that disturbing incident in Oyo State, we move to the education sector. ASUU threatens strike, accuses federal government of breaching 2025 agreement. So it is no longer 2009, it is now 2025. It is well. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, has accused the federal government of failing to fully implement the 2025 FG-ASUU agreement, barely 5 months after both parties signed the deal aimed at restoring stability to Nigerian universities. ASUU Abuja Zone said, contrary to recent claims by the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, that the agreement had been fully implemented, lecturers across federal and state universities were still battling unpaid entitlements, salary shortfalls, pension crises, and irregular welfare packages. Speaking during the press conference held at Nasarawa State University, Kefi, on Monday, the Abuja Zonal Coordinator of ASUU, Adamu Abdullahi, warned that the government's failure to faithfully implement the agreement could trigger fresh industrial action. He said, and I'm quoting, "It is exactly 5 months since the fanfare that accompanied that signing of the FG-ASU agreement after a protracted negotiation spanning 8 years. However, the claim that the federal government has fully implemented the agreement is far from the realities on the ground in federal universities. The union accused the federal government of abandoning the implementation framework agreed upon during the negotiations and allowing universities to apply the agreement selectively. According to Abdullahi, the government failed to inaugurate the Implementation Monitoring Committee meant to ensure uniform execution of the agreement and prevent bureaucratic bottlenecks in universities. The federal government has left it to individual universities to implement in a distorted and uncoordinated manner," is said. ASU alleged that university administrators were now picking and choosing which components of agreed allowances to pay, including the Consolidated Academic Tools Allowance and Professional Allowance.
Sorry.
Honestly, Abimbola, it is one problem too many in this country. You are looking at insecurity, you are looking at power crisis, you are looking at crisis in the education sector. We thought we had rested this problem of 8 years, 2009 agreement that was signed during the time of Goodluck Jonathan. Lo and behold, we signed another agreement in 2025 with all the fanfare, with the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, smiling, saying that there will never be any disagreement between ASU and federal government again. Yeah. But here we are again, ASU threatening to go on strike because the federal government had breached some parts of the 2025 agreement signed with ASU.
So, but the question to ask is this the whole of ASU or a zonal arm of ASU? Because from what you read, this is from the Abuja zone.
Yeah.
So again, we need to clarify. And from what he said, he also said that universities are implementing these agreements university by university.
Yes.
So there's also that need to clarify whether or not this is an umbrella issue.
Okay, or agreement.
Yes, or if it is peculiar to universities instead of, because again, one would have expected that if this is to be a general strike, it should be coming from the ASU president and not necessarily from a zone of ASU. So I think, these things also need to be clarified. But whatever it is, we do hope that the federal government will do the needful and ensure that, universities, whichever zone of the country they are, do not witness another strike. So
ASU is shouting now, where is NLC? Before they will tell NLC that, oh, what you are doing is politically motivated.
Anyways.
The minimum wage is not minimum anymore. And my own pay can hardly take me out of this studio. Talk less of the gates.
It is taking you to Ogba.
So I'll be going to Ogba by trekking.
Yes, now, so that you stay fit. Anyway, we need to run on the program. Let's quickly go on to the X platform this morning to take a look at one of the many trending stories there. This man is trending again. And if you ask me, it's probably trending for the bad reasons or for the negative reasons. Sheikh Gumi is trending. And of course, why is it trending? Is he granted an interview and on ending insecurity, and all he had to say, or part of what he had to say, was that terrorists need money they are getting from kidnapping. It's not like they're living luxurious lives. The government is putting too much pressure on them, so they need money to finance their war machines. On whose side are you, Sheikh Gumi? We do know that you are a negotiator. And of course, you are the middleman. You play that role so well between government and these guys. But coming on national television to say this, I think is just too much and is insensitive to those who are being kidnapped, to families who are selling property, selling land, selling everything that they have to free their loved ones from these people. And here you...
Habibola, I doubt if some people think through their thoughts before opening their mouths. And you saying that the federal government is putting pressure on terrorists in the country. They need money to finance their operations. Which side of the table are you exactly? Then are you actually feeling the pinch being felt by those whose families are being killed or abducted in different parts of the country? This particular statement coming from Gumi should not be left like that by the federal government, because if you give a sane interpretation to what he said,
it just means that his own salary is being affected.
Exactly.
He's not getting enough
Probably
money.
he's getting commission from the ransom that they are taking.
No, that's probably it, because you can't again be speaking
from the two sides of your mouth.
You cannot. I think the federal government needs to do more. Even though there is the freedom of speech, I think certain things should not be allowed to go, just like that, because it will seem like, you're not even caring to the plight of those who have been, who are going through all of these issues. Imagine families in that community. What do they even do? Farmers. The schools that they went into, the missionary schools, how much would their salary be that you've gone to kidnap? And where will they get the money for ransom? Where? How?
Unfortunately, those schools have been shut. So even when they're reopened, Abimbola, I'm sure teachers will be teaching in fear.
Will you take your child there?
Looking left, right, and center, not knowing when those guys will strike.
And then we keep saying that education is a necessity. Is this how we will continue?
Then what are we doing about the creation of state police again? Mr. President advised members of the National Assembly to expedite action on amending the 1999 Constitution to suit their accommodation.
That will be after the 2027 election.
Wow. So it is time for politics. No, Alasha. So you have your PVC, decide who will be your governor, your senator. Okay. If you are satisfied with their performance, let them continue.
All right, you can go on the X platform this morning and take a further read on why Sheikh Gumi is trending on that platform. We will take a quick break. When we return, the conversation continues.